The Golden Days and the Gathering Storm. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex. The story I'm about to share with you today is deeply personal. A chronicle of professional achievement, devastating betrayal, and an eventual, meticulously orchestrated campaign for justice that reshaped not just my life, but an entire corporation. It's about the lengths one might go when pushed to the absolute brink, and how specialized knowledge, honed over years of dedicated work, can become the most unexpected and potent of weapons against unchecked arrogance and entrenched nepotism. My journey at Apex Innovations began with such incredible promise, the kind of start to a career chapter that you read about in motivational books but rarely expect to experience firsthand. For 5 golden years, I wasn't just a senior project manager. I was an architect of success, a linchpin in our rapidly expanding division, and I genuinely, deeply loved my work. I thrived on the complex challenges, the intellectual stimulation, the thrill of bringing ambitious ideas to life. I remember the Phoenix Initiative. It's almost legendary in company lore now, though for different reasons than its initial acclaim. It was a bleeding-edge green technology integration project that had languished in development hell for nearly 2 grueling years before it landed with a thud on my desk. It was massively over budget, hopelessly behind schedule, and riddled with persistent technical gremlins that had stumped 2 previous teams. Morale on the newly assigned and understandably skeptical team was abysmal. Most of the executive suite had privately written it off as a costly, embarrassing failure, a white elephant. But I saw the diamond in the rough, the brilliant core concept struggling to emerge. I spent weeks, day and night, immersed in the technical specs, the market analyses, the frustrated notes of previous engineers. I held one-on-one meetings with every single team member, not to dictate, but to listen, to their frustrations, their insights, their hidden sparks of genius. I redrew the entire project roadmap from scratch, secured a controversial but absolutely necessary extension on one key component from a reluctant vendor, and somehow managed to reignite the team's passion, their belief in the project, and in themselves. We delivered the Phoenix Initiative not only on time for its revised schedule, but a staggering 10% under the original projected budget. It went on to win us the Global Sustainable Innovation Award, a very prestigious honor, presented at a glittering ceremony in Geneva. That heavy, beautiful plaque with my name on it alongside my amazing, dedicated team members sat proudly on my desk. It was a daily reminder of what we could achieve when talent was empowered and trusted. That was the kind of electrifying, can-do environment Apex Innovations fostered back then, or at least the division I was fortunate enough to be a part of. It felt like a true meritocracy, where bold innovation, calculated courage, and tangible, measurable results were genuinely celebrated and handsomely rewarded. The office itself, a sprawling, open-plan space on the 35th floor of a downtown high-rise with panoramic city views, buzzed with a creative, infectious energy. Collaboration wasn't a tired corporate buzzword trotted out in glossy annual reports. It was the lifeblood of how we operated. We had Think Tank Thursdays, informal lunchtime sessions where anyone, from the newest intern to the most seasoned veteran, could pitch an idea, no matter how outlandish, and get constructive feedback. We had open-door policies that actually meant something. You could genuinely walk into any senior manager's office, within reason of course, and get a hearing, a piece of advice, or a crucial decision made quickly. There was a palpable sense of shared purpose, of building something truly special, something that was making a difference in our industry. My team wasn't just a group of assigned colleagues, we were a tight-knit unit, a work family. We celebrated each other's victories, promotions, new babies, successfully navigated project crises that had seemed insurmountable, even just a brilliantly executed client presentation that sealed a major deal. I genuinely believed I had found my corporate home, a place where my dedication and skills were the primary currency of advancement, and where I could see myself growing, learning, and contributing for many, many years to come. My life outside reflected this stability and optimism. My partner and I had just had an offer accepted on a small house in a leafy suburb, feeling secure and excited about our shared future, a future Apex Innovations was helping to build. Then the winds began to shift, subtly at first, like the almost imperceptible drop in barometric pressure before a... Part 5. Weaving the Web. The Green River Project became my singular, all-consuming obsession. This wasn't just about finding a minor mistake, a procedural error, or another example of Jamie's everyday incompetence. This was about identifying a catastrophic, career-ending, reputation-shattering blunder, something so significant, so undeniable, so potentially disastrous that it would be impossible for even the most complicit board member to ignore, or for Mr. Harrison to sweep under his expensive Persian rug. I reached out to Sarah, my voice carefully neutral, almost casual, during our next scheduled check-in call. "Sarah," I began, after the usual pleasantries and her latest tale of Jamie's workplace follies, "I've been doing some thinking about the Green River Project. Given its immense complexity and the tight timelines they seem to be pushing, do you happen to know if they're absolutely on top of all the environmental compliance stages, particularly the Phase 2 geological stability surveys and the critical water table impact assessments? Those were always the trickiest bits, if I recall." I let the question hang in the air, knowing she'd understand the unspoken subtext, the dangerous current beneath the calm surface of my words. Her initial reaction was, understandably, one of sheer terror. "Alex, what on earth are you thinking?" she whispered, her voice tight with anxiety, dropping to an almost inaudible level, as if Mr. Harrison himself might be listening through the phone lines. Messing with Green River, that's Harrison's absolute crown jewel, his legacy project, Jamie's golden ticket to a VP title. If they even suspect anything, if I'm caught looking at the wrong files or asking the wrong questions, Alex, I could lose my job, my career, everything. I spent several long, patient, and persuasive calls, painstakingly explaining my theory, my growing suspicions based on the public timelines, and the potential leverage we might have if those suspicions proved correct. I emphasized repeatedly that her safety and complete anonymity were my absolute top priorities, that I would never ask her to do anything that put her in direct, unmanageable jeopardy. I laid out the moral argument, too, that this wasn't just about my personal quest for justice, but about potentially preventing a significant environmental disaster, about protecting shareholder value from gross mismanagement, and about stopping an incompetent, dangerous duo from possibly bankrupting the company, or at least causing irreparable long-term harm. What finally, irrevocably convinced her to help was a particularly egregious and cruel incident that she witnessed firsthand. Jamie, in a fit of pique after being politely questioned about some highly dubious, cost-cutting changes he'd made to the Green River Project's crucial water runoff management system, a system vital for preventing toxic contamination of the adjacent pristine, protected river and wetlands, had publicly, viciously humiliated a veteran, highly respected, and universally beloved lead geologist, Dr. Evans, one of Sarah's own cherished mentors. Jamie had apparently called Dr. Evans an old dinosaur, resistant to progress, and incapable of thinking outside the box in front of the entire project team. Dr. Evans, a man of immense integrity and quiet dignity, had simply walked out of the meeting, and Sarah heard later he was considering early retirement. "They can't keep getting away with this, Alex," she'd said, her voice trembling with a potent mixture of cold fear and white-hot righteous anger. "That man is a treasure, and that little twerp treated him like dirt. I'm in. Tell me what you need. I'll do whatever I can." Over the next few incredibly tense, nerve-wracking weeks, Sarah became my invaluable, courageous, and astonishingly resourceful eyes and ears inside the increasingly fortified, paranoid walls of Apex Innovations.
She was a masterpiece of discretion and cunning, subtly inquiring about the Green River Project's progress during informal chats in the break room, observing Jamie's chaotic, clueless handling of it during departmental update meetings where he mostly played games on his phone, and meticulously, carefully gathering any relevant documentation she could access without raising the slightest suspicion. Stray, forgotten printouts left on shared office copiers, misfiled or mislabeled documents in rarely accessed shared network drives, casual but telling observations of stressed-out engineers working late into the night, their faces etched with worry. She described one particularly heart-stopping moment when Jamie had unexpectedly walked into the central records room while she was discreetly photographing a crucial and, as it turned out, utterly damning internal progress report for the Green River Project with her phone, hidden behind a stack of binders. She'd